Namaste, and welcome to our sunrise or sunset yoga practice, depending on which time of day you choose to practice. Before we begin, if you need to, please grab a chair. You might also want to grab a towel or a blanket, something that you can roll up and put under your body to support it throughout our practice. Also, if you have a strap, you might want to grab that as well. Let's start with some easy breathing in your easy seated position. If this is too difficult for you to sit cross-legged, feel free to sit with your legs extended in front of you or in your mermaid pose. Relax your brow, relax your jaw, and allow your mouth to come slightly open. With your inhale, allow that air to come in through your nose. Allow it to fill your lungs. With your exhale, allow that breath to escape out of your slightly open mouth. If you wish to, allow your eyelids to draw closed, and we'll hold here for about 10 breaths. Keep breathing deeply. Take one more full breath here. If you had your eyes closed, please open. Bring your hands to prayer at your heart. Take one full breath here. Bring your hands out to your sides. Bring your left palm down onto your mat. Your right hand comes across your left knee for a gentle spinal twist. Right here in your easy seated position. Try not to overextend. Inhale. Exhale. Take about 3 more breaths here. With your next breath, gently turn back to center. Now bring your right palm down onto your mat. Your left hand comes to your right knee. Do not pull, just gently twist your upper body as far as you feel comfortable and stop here, keeping your chest lifted, your core tight, shoulders back and down, and breathe. With your next breath, turn back to center. And as gracefully as you can, come to all fours at the center of your mat. I'm going to turn to my side. Place both palms right underneath your shoulders and knees under squared hips, keeping your core nice and tight. Take one full breath here. Then with your next breath, pull your belly button into your spine. Drop your head, round your back, and hold here for 5 breaths. With your next breath, still keeping your core tight, drop your chest, pull those shoulder blades back. Look up if you can. If you have problems with your neck, just look straight ahead. And hold here for 5 breaths. Come back to flat back. Take 1 full breath here, and we'll take our cat-cow pose with each breath. For 5 breaths, inhale, pull it in. Exhale, drop. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale, drop. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale, drop. Trying to go a little deeper with each breath. Inhale, pull it in. Exhale, drop. Last one. Inhale, pull it in. And exhale, drop. Come back to flat back. Take 1 full breath here. And then push your hips back as you slide your hands forward to child's pose. Again, only extending as far as you feel comfortable. Bring your hips as close to your calves as possible. Reach those fingertips far ahead. Feel that stretch in your entire back. Hold here for 3 more breaths. As you rest here, let me also remind you that if at any time during our practice you need to take a break, come to child's pose and rest here, and return whenever you're ready. Slowly slide back up, coming back to all fours at the center of your mat. From here, tuck your toes in and lift your hips straight up to downward facing dog. Now really quickly, if you need to modify, come to your chair, step as far back as you feel comfortable, and just straighten right here. This is your modification if you need it for downward facing dog. And hold here for 5 breaths. I'm going to go back down to the mat. Spread your fingers, push your palms into your mat. Bring your heel as close to your mat as possible. Feel that stretch in your calves and hamstrings. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Walk your feet slightly back. Bring your hands back under your shoulders and drop your hips to plank. Also, if you need to modify, you may bring your knees down and hold your plank right here. And hold here for 5 breaths. With your next breath, bend your elbows chaturanga and drop your chest. Bring your elbows down to Sphinx position and hold here for 5 breaths. Again, if you have problems with your neck, If this is too much pressure, just look straight down and stabilize your neck and back. Do not overextend. Take one more full breath here. And slowly push yourself back to all fours at the center of your mat. Again, tuck your toes in and lift your hips straight up. Back to downward facing dog. If you need to use the chair, feel free to do so. Remember your modification. Again, bringing those heels as close to the mat as possible, pushing into the floor. You may walk your hands slightly forward or your feet slightly back to drop your hips for plank. Again, you can come down to your knees and hold right here, keeping your core tight. Take 3 more breaths here. Drop your chest. Place your elbows down on your mat and lift your head back to your Sphinx position. Take one full breath here and turn your head. Look to your right. Turn back to center. Take one full breath here and turn your head. Look to your left. Turn back to center, and from here, slowly push your body back up. Back to all fours. Take one full breath here and tuck your toes in. Lift your hips straight up. Back to downward facing dog. Again, bringing those heels as close to your mat as possible. Spread your fingers, push your palms into your mat. Also, hold on to your chair if you need to. Don't forget your modification. Use it if you need it. Take about 3 more full breaths here. Remember to allow that breath to escape out of your slightly open mouth, cooling your entire body. With your next breath, walk both feet to your hands for a deep forward fold. And I'm also going to go ahead and turn my body back to center. Now only go as far down as you feel comfortable. Do not overextend. If you need to, shorten your range of motion. Take one more full breath here and slowly roll all the way up with your head and neck coming up last. Hello again. Aren't you happy to see my face? As we get ready for our mountain pose, go ahead and stagger just a little bit. Bring your feet slightly apart. Plant your feet firmly into your mat. Knees are straight but soft. Tuck your tailbone slightly in. Pull your belly button into your spine. Keep your core nice and tight. Chest is slightly lifted. Shoulders back and down. Open your palms to receive. Allow your eyelids to draw closed. And hold here for 5 breaths. If you had your eyes closed, please open. Bring your feet back together and slowly roll all the way down to our deep forward fold. Again, only going as far down as you feel comfortable. Come up to flat back, placing your hands on your thighs, keeping that spine straight for our spinal prep. Your back should be as flat as a tabletop. Take 2 more full breaths here. And slowly roll all the way up. This time, swing your arms around and overhead. Come into a slight back bend. Look up. If you need to modify, bend your knees slightly or take out the back bend entirely. Take about 3 more breaths here. Straighten your spine and your legs and roll all the way down back to our deep forward fold. With your next breath, lift your chest and come up to flat back, keeping that spine straight, keeping your core tight, tabletop back, and hold here for 3 more breaths.
It just wasn't moving. I just thought to myself, it's not a helicopter. It just can't, it just split, it just took off. And then I saw it kind of descend down.
Slowly roll all the way up. Again, swing your arms around and overhead. Take 1 full breath here and gently lean to your left. If you can and if you wish to, with your left hand, grab that right wrist and gently guide it. Never pull it. If you can, turn your head, look up, and hold here for 5 breaths. Turn back to center. Take 1 full breath here and gently lean to your left. Again, if you wish to, with your right hand, grab that left wrist and gently guide it. Never pull. If you can, turn your head, look up. If not, just look straight ahead.
And there it was, sitting there, actually parked on this flat plane, and there was this little green guy, little short fuck running around. down. He's about my height.
Turn back to center.
I walked up to him, asked him one. It's like,
Release those hands and roll all the way down back to our deep forward fold.
he had his big almond-shaped eyes. Right, I dropped the pizza guy on the damn bike. I tailed it out of there. I'll never forget that day as long as I live.
Take one more full breath here. Come up to flat back. And slowly roll all the way up. Swing your arms around and overhead. Stand up nice and tall with your hands overhead. If you wish to, bring your feet slightly apart. Give yourself more room and more balance here. If you can, keep those feet together. Take one full breath here, keeping your core tight, and push your hips back for our chair pose. Now, if you need to modify in this pose, just shorten your range of motion. Don't go as far down. Hold here for 5 breaths. Again, if the hands overhead is too much in this pose, bring your hands to prayer and hold it at your heart.
What did I see out there?
This is good too.
I don't know if I was dreaming or what.
Take 3 more breaths here.
All just a dream. All just a dream. All just a dream.
Straighten your knees and roll all the way down to our deep forward fold. Come up to flat back. And slowly roll all the way up, back to mountain. Now for our next pose, we're going to do the tree pose. If you need to, if you have problems with your balance, I do want you to come next to your chair, starting with whichever leg you wish to. I'm going to start with my right, well, my left, your right. Feel free to keep your foot right here, half of it on your shin calf area, and your toes on the floor. This creates more balance, and well, it helps you not fall over. If you can, bring it up to your shin calf area. This is completely single leg now. And if you can bring it even higher, right here to your thigh. I do ask that you do not press your foot into your knee area. So keep it right above or right below or on the floor. Hold on to your chair if you need to. If you can, let go. Bring your hearts to prayer. And hold here for 5 breaths. Gently release and bring that foot down. Now onto the other side. The same thing applies. You can keep it right down here. You may also find that you have more balance on one side than the other, and that's okay. You may only be able to do this on this side. You may be able to bring it to the shin calf area, or if you can, you may bring it up to your thighs. I think I have more balance on the other side, so I'm going to keep it right below. Again, feel free to hold on to your chair and just bring one hand to your heart. If you can, let go of the chair and bring your hands to prayer at your heart. And hold here for 5 breaths. gently release. And we're going to do that again, but this time we're going to have our hands overhead. So again, feel free to keep your toes on the ground. Bring it to your shin calf area, or bring it up to your thighs. Feel free to hold on to the chair and just take one hand overhead. If you can, let go of the chair and take those prayer hands overhead and hold here for 5 breaths. Bring those hands back down to your heart and gently release. And now we'll do the other side. Again, feel free to keep those down on your mat. Yes. Or bring it to your shin calf area. And if you have more balance than I do, you can bring it up even higher. Feel free to put one hand overhead, holding onto your chair, or bring your hands to prayer and take both prayer hands overhead and hold here for 5 breaths. Bring those prayer hands back down to your heart and gently release. Come back to the center of your mat as gracefully as you can. Come back down to all fours, and as gracefully as you can, come to easy seated position, either in your mermaid pose like I do, or cross leg, hands at your heart. Take about 5 full breaths here as we prepare for our deep stretch section. Check out the next video. When we come back, we'll move into our deep stretches. Welcome back to our yoga practice. Now we're going to stay on the floor doing mostly floor exercises. As gracefully as you can from your easy seated position, come to all fours at the center of your mat. Take one full breath here and tuck your toes in and lift your hips straight up, back to downward facing dog. If you need to, I'll show you the modification on the chair once again. Just hold onto your chair, step as far back as you can, and push down, push back, feeling that stretch in your calves and hamstrings, as well as your back. I'll come back down to the floor. Take one full breath here. And with your next breath, lift your right leg straight up as high as you can for 3-legged dog. If you find it difficult to do this holding on to the chair, go ahead and bring that left knee down for bird dog. This is good too. And hold here for 5 breaths. Squeezing those glutes. Slowly bring that foot back down to your mat, back to downward facing dog, or all fours. Take one full breath here, and lift your left leg straight up for three-legged dog. Again, if you need to modify, bring that opposite knee down to your mat for bird dog. Take 3 more breaths here. And gently bring that foot back down to your mat. Drop both knees. Come back to all fours and push your hips back as you slide your hands forward to child's pose. Come back to all fours. Again, perfecting your stance. Your hands right under your shoulders, hips under squared hips. Tuck your toes in and lift your hips straight up. Back to downward facing dog. Use the chair if you need to. Come down to all fours if you need to. This time, you're going to bring that right foot between your hands for your runner's lunge. And feel free to hold here. If you need to, bring that opposite knee down to your mat. From here, go ahead and turn that left foot completely to the side and place it on your mat. Slowly lift your chest and bring your hands to prayer, and take those prayer hands overhead. Open for warrior one. If you need to modify, just shorten your range of motion or place that opposite knee down on your mat. With your next breath, in the same stance, bring your hands out to the side. Look to your right for warrior two. Take 3 more breaths here. With your next breath, turn your upper body back to center. Your legs in the same stance. Actually, we're going to come to the chair for this one. Holding on to your chair, slowly push forward as you lift that back leg for warrior three. Hold on to the chair. However, if you can and if you wish to, you can let go of the chair and swing those hands back. If you wish, if you can, and if you wish to, hold on to the chair. Slowly release. Place that foot back down onto your mat. Place your hands down on your mat back to runner's lunge and walk that foot back. Back to downward facing dog. Hold here for about 5 breaths. If you also want to go down to child's pose and rest there, feel free to do so. From here, working on the other side now. Bring your left foot between your hands for a runner's lunge. Feel free to stay here. If you wish to, you may place that opposite knee down on your mat. With your next breath, turn your right leg completely to the side. Lift your chest, hands in prayer. If you need to modify, shorten your range of motion and straighten this leg just a little bit. Slight bend in the knee. Bring your hands to prayer. Take those prayer hands up and open. Warrior One. Drop both hands to the side. Look to your left. Warrior Two. Again, coming closer to your chair. Bring your feet in about the same stance. Hold on to your chair and gently push up for Warrior Three. Again, hold on to the chair if you need to. If not, bring your hands behind. I'll hold on to the chair. Gently release. Place that foot back down on your mat. Come back to runner's lunge and walk your foot back to downward facing dog. From here, place both knees on your mat. Come back to all fours and push your hips back to child's pose. I'm going to turn to facing you again as we get ready for our camel pose. So you want to make fists and put them into your back, right above your bum. Now, feel free to stay here. If you can, look up and push your hips slightly forward. And hold here for 5 breaths. Gently release. And as gracefully as you can, come to sitting position on your mat. Turn around and keeping your knees slightly bent, you may place your hands right under your knees and lean back slightly. Feel free to keep your feet on the mat. If you can, lift for your boat pose. And if you're even more advanced, you can straighten those legs. Hold here for about 3 more breaths. Placing your feet back on your mat. Walk your bum a little closer and slowly lower yourself all the way down to your mat. Place your feet firmly on your mat, laying with your palms up to receive, bringing your feet and your knees slightly apart. Take 1 full breath here and lift your hips as high as you can for our bridge. Keeping that core nice and tight, squeeze your glutes. And hold here for 5 breaths. If you wish to, you may put a towel under your neck for a little more support. Gently lower back down to your mat. Bring your knees into your chest. Feel free to keep your head on the ground or bring it slightly up. And lower. And place your feet back down to your mat again. Take 1 full breath here. You have a few options here. You can lift your hip back up to your bridge again. Or you can come into an upward bow pose. The bridge is a better option. Slowly lower back onto your mat as we get ready for our Shavasana. Bring both knees up. Extend one leg, doesn't matter which, and slowly lower all the way down to your mat. Extend the other leg and slowly lower as we get ready for our Shavasana. From here, relax your brow. Allow your mouth to come slightly open. Relax your jaw. Feel the rise and fall of your chest and abdominal area with each breath. Allow your back and your hips to sink into your mat. If you're feeling too much pressure on your back from laying down flat, feel free to turn to your side or feel free to bend those knees. Feel your legs become heavy and allow them to fall whichever way they may. Feel your arms become heavy and allow them to fall whichever way they may. Relax your neck and allow your head to fall whichever way it may. Allow your eyelids to draw closed and hold here for 10 breaths. Remain in Shavasana and continue to breathe here. With your next breath, begin to awaken yourself by wiggling your fingers and toes. Whenever you're ready, turn to your side. And whenever you're ready, from your side, push yourself up. Back to easy seated, lotus, or half lotus pose. Once you're in your easy seated position, we end as we began. Sit up nice and tall, core nice and tight. Allow your eyelids to draw closed. And hold here for about 10 breaths. Bring your hands to prayer at your heart. If you had your eyes closed, please open. I hope you enjoyed our practice today, and thank you for joining. Namaste.